Back. In case you're just joining us, this is Sports This Morning on your award-winning channels television right here in the city of Lagos. Well, Cecilia has just joined me, and before we came on set, I was asking if we would see the real Super Eagles. But Cecilia, let me quickly welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Yonazi says we're going to see the real Super Eagles, which means the first two matches we've played is not the real Super Eagles. So are we going to see anything different against the United States? Some people feel that some of those players might be cautious. Yeah,
I think if you check the first 11 that Coach Stephen Keshi played against Greece, everyone was actually saying this might just be Nigeria's first 11. Now, Keshi said most of them were actually trying to impress him because they've not been in the squad for a very long time. Some of them that came in really wanted to play very well. And at the end of the day, they did not play according to instruction. So I'm thinking, just like what Onazi said, I think I have to go his way. Maybe because they were trying to impress and they didn't settle down. Maybe in the game against the US, they will settle down and they'll take that they'll take that into the World Cup, come June 16 when we're starting our first game against Iran. I think, like you said, definitely we'll have the real Super Eagles at that time. And when they are calmer, and of course they play to the coach's instruction, then definitely they'll have a better performance. Okay,
let me put this to you. What should be done differently against the United States? Is it just a friendly, or should the coach, begin to fine-tune his tactics for the game against Iran? Or do you think some of the players we've not seen, like Juwon Shaniwa, Ramon Aziz, should that be the opportunity for us to see those guys? Or should he just go with the players we all think will be the first 11?
I don't think he would do that because, friendlies, that's when you need to check all your players, their fitness level and all that. So I think he wants to give chance to other players that haven't played any of the friendlies so far. I think against US, he might use his first 11 in the first half. Then the second half, is a friendly. Yeah. You can change as many players as you want. It's just
six maximum.
Okay. It's just for you to check the fitness of all your players. I think for me, he's going to use the likes of Oshanwa. There's no way you just allow those guys going to the World Cup without you, testing them, except they're not going to play. But if they're going to play a crucial role, that's if we get off the group stage and into the quarterfinals, who knows, semifinals and all that, I think he might want to draw some of these guys because you can't just play your first 11 continuously. They'll definitely, fizzle us and all that, get tired and all. So we want to draw from that experience. Check some of these players that haven't played any of the friendlies and, of course, play them in the game against US. But I think that's where he's going to fine-tune his tactics because you can't wait till you play
the first game
before you do that. He will have to fine-tune his tactics against US. It is what they will play. For me, I think the way they will play will determine how they will play against Iran.
So we should base our expectation for the Iran game on whatever we see the Super Eagles play.
Yes, all they need to do is to improve on whatever they are going to play against the United States. And of course, what they should look out for is finishing touches. I think it's high time they learn to actually score more goals. And not just scoring, but score early. I think that's usually the basic. You stamp your feet very early because
don't put yourself under pressure.
In the game against Greece, they came into the game too late, and too many chances were missed and all that. Victor Moses was everywhere. But when you're everywhere, man of the match, and you don't get to score, I mean, it's...
The performance wasn't a true reflection of what the guys... Okay, let's flip it now. Let's go to the flip side and talk about United States. What's in it for United States? I'm thinking they're playing Nigeria because they're thinking about Ghana.
Ghana, of course.
Aside that, what's in it for United States?
I think that's the basic one. And if you check for Jürgen Klinsmann to be going into the World Cup without having his key man, I'm talking about London Donovan, everyone, the Americans
World Cups, America's poster boy.
Poster boy, and he is not in your squad. But I think playing Nigeria will definitely help him out. And another one the people saying is that after playing Ghana, of course, they're playing Portugal and all that with Cristiano Ronaldo, we don't know if he's going to play fitness, trouble and all that.
Yes.
But I think another point is if you're able to play Nigeria, African champions, you're able to beat them, definitely I think it will be going into the game against Ghana.
Speaking before this friendly, Jürgen Klinsmann told us how he plans to get into the second round. And he said the game against Ghana is important because he's going to get 3 points. So do you think it's going to be easy pickings for United States?
No, definitely not. We saw what Ghana did in 2010 in South Africa.
Even in 2006.
Precisely. So if not for that, hand of God or hand of God, I don't know how to call that kind of hand.
From Luis Suarez's
hand and all that. If not for that, Ghana would have gone to the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup. And of course, the penalty missed by, their main man and all that. But I think for me, the US definitely fine, they can't take that 3 points off Ghana. But how would they do that? It's going to be difficult for them. If it's the same Ghanaian that we saw, way back, they've never defeated Ghana. They've met them before. But Ghana, usually have the upper hand. But
they met in 2006.
2006, and of course, the Ghanaians, they won that
for
game.
Ghana.
So maybe they just want to take a pound of flesh. But to do that, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. I think they have to look at other games, European games and all that, European countries that they're going to face. You have Portugal, you have Germany in that same squad.
Sisi, let me put you on the spot. If they don't win against Ghana, and they're going to play Portugal and Germany, is it over for them? Definitely. Okay. Sisi will come back again and she'll be able to tell us if United States do not win against Ghana, will it be over? We're moving into the period where we'll be talking about the World Cup and saying a lot of things about the World Cup. But let's leave the World Cup now and move on to other things. And let's talk tennis. Right about now, or in some few minutes, if the rain does not disturb, Rafael Nadal and Andy Murray will go to battle. Andy Murray is the only guy in this tournament that does not have a coach. But he's here.
But the mother is actually sitting there. You know what that means?
But he's here in the semi-final. But on clay, you don't want to bet against Rafael Nadal.
You don't want to. But if you check Andy Murray, I mean, this man has gone through 2 5-set thrillers. Against Philip Kohlschreiber, we thought he was going to lose it at the end of the day. He went through the 5. And of course, the other game, same thing. Fernando Verdasco, he's been pushed to the edge.
Of all the top players left,
bounce back,
he's
the one that has been pushed to the edge. And even the game against a guy of his, everyone was thinking, okay, because he's playing on the center court, the home crowd and all that, Andy Murray was down in the 3rd and the 4th set. We were shocked that he came back in the final set. Of course, he won that game. I think for me, Andy Murray
this was close for Nadal as well, against compatriot David Ferrer.
No, it was just the first set. David Ferrer had the first set, which Nadal actually gave to him. But
some of us thought it was going to be straight 3 sets.
Yeah, we thought, but when I actually disagreed with that was in Monte Carlo. If you check the game that David Ferrer had played against Nadal on clay before, he precisely so. Which I felt he was going to use that, coming into this game, at least take 2 sets off Nadal. I mean, push him to 5 sets and all that, but he couldn't do that. Just after managing
after the first set, it was a near flawless performance.
Precisely,
from Rafa.
We was actually teaching him how to play on clay and all that, which we didn't really expect from David Ferrer compared to how much games they played so far and his ability to have defeated him on clay twice. So we just felt coming to the French Open, there might just be an upset. But we didn't see that. Okay.
Is it going to be an easy route for Novak Djokovic? Let's not even talk about his opponent. Let's not even talk about his opponent. But let's give him some credit for getting to the semi-final.
Yes.
But some of those guys just get to semi-final and just fall by the wayside. But is it going to be easy pickings for Novak?
Okay, except there's Ernest Gobis. There's something people actually say about him. He's a diet, very unhealthy. Eats ketchup a lot and all that. So if he had to do his normal night throttling and, of course, eat his unusual diet, he might just be weak. But if he really wants to be focused, because he's a guy that I've seen that he really wants to play the game, he has a way of doing it. He did it against Roger Federer. He did it against Thomas Berdych. So everyone were thinking after Roger Federer, Thomas Berdych might just take him out. But he did that in 3 sets. But against Novak Djokovic, I don't see him really winning that game. He might take a set off Novak Djokovic, but him winning it, definitely it's going to be a tall order for him. I think the game, to me, the game is definitely between Andy Murray and Rafael Nadal, because remember in 2011, that was the last time, they played and all that on clay, and it was an easy win for Rafael Nadal. But for Andy Murray, then he had one in Grand Slam, but now he has won 2 Grand Slams, and everyone will be actually tipping him to win on clay.
You just took it out from my mouth. I was going to accuse you of having a bias. I thought you weren't going to talk about Andy Murray, but you've said something. I'm not going to make any predictions.
Okay.
It's very tough. My heart tells me it's going to be Nadal, but we've seen strange things happen in tennis. But let's talk about the ladies. Are we going to see a new name on the title?
He's talking about Simona.
So
I think if you check...
If Sharapova wins, it's not going to surprise anybody.
Because
it's probably not news.
But and on clay this year, she's been so good, 18 matches and all that.
The next best team after Serena is Maria Sharapova.
We know that.
Nobody argues about that. But are we going to see a new name? Is our opponents going to bring...
I'm hoping that you have a new name, but it's going to be difficult. And if you check Maria Sharapova recently has shown that, look, if you take a set off me in the first...
I'll come back at you.
I'll come back at you. Exactly. So she
winner's mentality.
Like, that's it. She's got it. That's something she never had before. Now she has it. So it's going to be difficult for Simona. But I really want Simona to actually,
want to see a new name.
That's
the nature of women's tennis.
Check the last 6 years, you've had 6 different winners. So if Maria Sharapova had to win it now, she won in 2012, she'll be like, okay, that's the number one.
Yeah, that's what people say about the ladies' game. Apart from Serena, it's really not consistent.
But the good thing is that it's not predictable.
Yes,
which I love about
it. But for the guys, if you are not in the top 6,
forget it.
God help you. God help you if you are ever going to win a Grand Slam and you are not in the top 6. But well, that's a bit on the French Open. But as we wrap things up this morning, NBA Finals, you've been monitoring that as well. Game 1, San Antonio Spurs, surprisingly. Well, they have...
The final quarter.
Yeah, last year it was like this. 5 minutes away from being champions. They lost it, stretched it to Game 7. Miami had won. So I don't know if we should take too much notice of game one victory for San Antonio Spurs. Considering the fact that in the last 5 minutes of the final quarter, LeBron James did not play. He actually hopped up because he had, a cramp on his leg, and for him. And despite that, he got about 25 points. And that Tony Parker, of course, so
having
keep
19
wondering
points.
if he was
keep wondering
there
precisely
till the end
if
of
he
the
was
game.
there. And Tim Duncan was the highest pointer, and of course getting about 21 points and all. But for me, playing at home, San Antonio Spurs, they have a way of actually taking advantage of their home court and get to win their game. But it's just game 1, and they played at home, so I don't really see a big deal. But the good thing is for them to have been able to take the game, when it was 9 minutes, towards the end, and of course, the bounce back 31-9, and that's the final quarter, which was really a huge one for them. If they continue like that, even when they're done, and of course, come back from behind and beat Miami, maybe it might not even get up to game 7.
Okay, that's another one from CZ. We might just have not to wait till game 7. Last year, we had to wait till game 7. It might just hand for Miami before it ever began. But that's how we wrap things up on the show this morning. We really hope that you've enjoyed what we're able to bring to you. If time permits, we'll leave you with some action from the game you saw at the beginning. France 98, Nigeria against Spain. Let's remind ourselves we can always beat the big teams on our good day. That's how we leave you this morning. Goodbye and God bless.
Deflected, goal, first blood to Spain. Well, to take the corner. Susie the Wrecker still trying to get the defenders in the right place, and look at that! It's an equaliser, it's Adepoju. Delight for Nigeria. And Raul has sneaked in and scored in such spectacular fashion. Well, Spain making a real statement at the start of this second half. Raul going on down that left-hand side and still going on. Well, it's gone in. Off Zubizarreta. Lawal may well claim that, but it has to be an own goal. Olise. Oh, my word! Nigeria in front for the first time, and how?